Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode 17 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I am Tim Gettys. I'm joined alongside the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller.
Hey.
Good to be here with you today.
We got my boy Alfredo
Hi.
Diaz. Alfredo plays over on Twitch.
Hi.
How's your whole Twitch thing going?
Good. Yeah. It's just fun.
Good.
It's just fun.
What have you been streaming lately?
H1Z1. Just random encounters with people, role playing.
Cool.
It's been.
What are you role playing as?
I usually just pick people up, and then from there I kind of just
Feel it out.
force the situation, feel it out.
Fredo Cab
You
Confessions.
know, usually it's just
I
like,
like
you know,
that.
who were you in this life before the zombie apocalypse hit? And people give like random stories, and you
Do
kind
they
of just roll
really?
with it.
That's
Yeah.
fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you guys
Kill
excited
him? Do you
about?
murder him? Do you murder him right away?
I mean, eventually I gotta murder him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always just like.
How often do you
struggle.
get killed in H1Z1? Is it just chill where everybody's like trying not to kill each other now, or is it still just anarchy?
It's still anarchy, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's just like, well, I mean, I play Battle Royale, so it's like, how far do I go using this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, Colin and I would be stronger the longer we go on, but once we hit, 5 last people, then it's like,
Gotta get close. Gotta start thinking.
it's like, when does he go?
Yeah, when does he go?
The question is if.
Yeah.
If he goes.
What have you guys been playing lately?
I'm playing State of Decay Year 1 Survival Edition,
yeah.
which is a complicated name. This is the first time you've ever asked me that question on a show, and I can actually talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been embargoed. I've been playing this thing like crazy.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to talk about it. It's so good. It's just hitting the nail right
Hitting
in
the
the
good
head.
snuff?
It's it. Christine
snuff.
checks in every like 3 hours, and she's like, "This game looks boring because you're just doing the same thing." I'm like, I know.
Now, when you say she checks in, does it mean she's laying in bed already? So does it mean
I've been laying in bed recently. She's been on the PC terminal. She's been playing The Witcher. So,
PC terminal.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I like
Terminal
that.
hacking and whatnot.
Yes.
So she'll look over, and it's just me taking a rucksack back to my truck to go to the next house to get another rucksack full of food.
How's the frame rate?
That's still not great.
Oh, okay.
It's still very much.
still fun to
It's
play,
still
but
very
yeah.
much State of Decay. I mean, Undead Labs, they have like all these great ideas, but they're still a small studio, so that stuff still shines through. It's not running amazingly, you know what I mean? But it doesn't.
Yeah.
It also isn't as bad as like. Remember when we did our Let's Play? We started driving and it was like that was like a rare one-off. It's not getting that bad often, but it's still like it's still the same lovable, janky little game it always has been. Of like this open world, go investigate and see what happens.
So
kind of
pick
thing.
it up.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this, but you know what else runs really smooth? GTA 5 on the PC.
Been hearing
Wow.
good things about it.
It is beautiful.
Really?
Yeah, it is really beautiful. And it controls so well on a mouse and keyboard.
Really?
Get that shit out of here.
PC mustard race.
Oh, God, I hate you so much. What about you, Colin? What
PC
you been
Mustard
playing?
Race. I've been playing a game called Medieval Defenders on Vita, which is just like a tower defense game. Bastion on PS4. I finally got around to playing that. It's awesome. I'm like 4 or 5 years behind.
Bastion's
on
amazing.
that. And Shovel Knight comes out today, so on PS4, Vita, and PS3. So life stops until I get that platinum. And platinum's gonna be very hard. Beat it without dying.
Damn.
All sorts of
Jesus.
stuff. Well, I'll be able to do it. I got the trophy in Mega Man 10. I was talking to Greg about for beating it without dying. Mega Man 10 is way harder than Shovel Knight. There was a Mega Man 10 trophy to beat it without getting hit, which I couldn't do.
Holy crap.
Took way too much patience. I can get through the first 8 stages without getting hit, but once you get to Wily's Castle, it's too hard.
I don't know if you guys know about this. There's some.
Jeez, that's amazing.
I heard that there's a trophy in Mortal Kombat X that like people still don't even know about. It's like some secret. It's a secret
Interesting.
trophy.
I didn't hear about it.
I don't know. That sounds
Secret
cool though.
trophy.
I like
That
things
sounds
like that. I like when things happen. Like it takes a while for people to figure out what the hell they need to do.
Yeah.
Because when you know all this shit from before the game even comes out, just reading the trophy names, that's
Yeah.
no fun.
Agreed.
Yeah. Recently, I've been playing Sonic the Hedgehog 1.
On Genesis?
No, so when I was doing Colin and Greg Live with Greg, they announced the next wave of Sega 3D Classics on a 3DS to help with the library, and
The ever
growing
expanding,
library of the 3DS,
vaunted
Here we
3DS
go.
library.
3DS library.
With Sega Genesis games.
So they announced Sonic the Hedgehog 2 3D, and I was like thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know if the 3D would be cool in that or whatever. And I was like, it could work because of the way that game looks. And then I was like, I'm gonna download Sonic 1 and play through it again, because also we played Sonic Boom recently,
And
that was goddamn
really
travesty.
what a great game that
But
was.
it's like, and then recently Greg did this Nerd Court thing, which you should go check out over on youtube.com/Skybound.
Skybound.
Very good. That was very funny.
It was really, really, really funny.
Links
You should
right
definitely
here.
check
I
it
can't
out.
believe it
Kevin.
wasn't scripted.
Yeah,
Me neither.
No.
Right? It really felt scripted. It was a thing where it was Greg versus one of the Warp Zone guys, Sonic versus Mario, and
But reverse roles. I was Mario. They were Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a surprise because Greg is a,
I
Sega
think
dude.
having been a Sega fanboy, I know better than most that Sonic is garbage.
Yeah. Well,
And
so
he
see,
deserves
that's
to burn
my
in
thing.
hell for everything he's
From
done to
watching
me.
that, it's like I will never argue that Sonic's better than Mario, but I do think that Sonic gets a bad rap for his earlier stuff. I don't think that they're perfect games, but I was like, there has to be something. Like, because
So you went back to
hanging
play
out with
one?
Colin really makes me question a lot of my decisions from my younger years.
Yeah.
As
And I'm
it
like,
should.
I was like, there's no way they're as bad as I thought they were.
Yeah.
Or they're as bad as now Colin's making me think they were. Because I remember them being something.
Yeah.
Sonic 1 has its issues, but I remember 2 and specifically 3 being the shit. So I'm like, I'm going to play through all of them. I've been playing through 1 for the first time ever, trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds and all that stuff. And I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's good. It's damn good. Think you guys are wrong about this one.
Just run full speed.
No.
There's no way.
That's only
See
like the
something
first,
that's gonna hit you.
the first 2 levels. That's it.
The first game I ever got was Sonic on Game Gear, and I hated it.
Well, that's a mistake.
I hated it.
Game
You
Gear.
can only
The
play it for
first
like
game
10
you
minutes
ever
at a time.
got was Sonic on Game Gear.
Yep.
So
Apparently-
Gear
like
was
you
your
got
first platform?
Game Gear was your first.
Oh yeah, yeah.
system.
I mean, the first system I ever got was Game Gear, and
Wow.
the game was Sonic.
Man.
That's bizarre.
What a poor child
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Poor child.
Here's what I want to know. You tweeted the other day, Fredo,
Yeah.
that you're thinking about building another PC
Yes.
so that you can have one gaming PC dedicated and one streaming PC dedicated.
Mhm.
How, are you gonna do this? Why are you doing this? What's that?
Because games like The Witcher and like GTA, I mean, like I have a beastly like graphics card. I have like a GTX 980, and I have a really good CPU as well. But it gets to the point where when you're streaming and you're running a game at like ultra settings, it's not the graphics card that's the issue. It's the CPU, and it just can't handle all that.
Sure.
So the temp runs at like 95%,
You need more fans.
which is dangerous.
Yeah, get
That's
the
the issue.
cooling units in there.
You need
Yeah,
water.
we,
You need
yeah.
hydro.
Oh my god, the water. I mean, what a lot of streamers do though is what they essentially build a separate PC just for streaming.
Yeah.
You know, it's less expensive. I
Sure.
mean, obviously, it still costs like $1,000, but like just specifically for streaming, and then you just hook up your gaming rig into that streaming computer as if it was a console,
Right.
and then you just play that way.
We're monsters, ladies and gentlemen.
I know.
Can we just imagine being younger versions of ourselves, looking to the future and being like, you're gonna need 2 badass computers to do what the fuck you want to do. Holy shit!
It's not
that's
necessary,
crazy.
but it's just like when I have a top of the line graphics card and I have to scale back, you know,
Yeah.
the graphic settings because I'm streaming simultaneously. Like I'll stream, scale back the settings. I'm like, all right, yeah, this looks good, and then I'll like turn out the stream and still play, turn up the settings. I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am
yeah.
missing
I'm
out.
cheating myself of the experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is not the first topic for the day.
Nope.
The first
goodness.
topic is.
You got no rigmarole? You're not
Huh?
gonna tell them where
Oh
to
yeah, the
subscribe?
rigmarole. You're
There's
right.
a whole rigmarole.
I always forget the rigmarole.
You
on
have been
the
trying to
show.
remove
Process
the
it
rigmarole from
Yeah.
the show, and I'm here to make sure
It's
there's
not
more
so much that I'm
rigmarole
trying
than
to,
ever.
It's just like, it just happens. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Kind of Funny Gamescast. It's essentially the Game Over Greggy show, but it's about video games. So every day you get a different topic. We're going to talk it out for your amusement. Can I combine all of the
Sure,
different
shove it
intros?
all in
I
there.
don't
Say
even know
greetings
about
and
that.
salutations.
Yeah, greetings and salutations.
You're having like a stroke.
Yeah, that's what happens. There's Oreos somewhere, right?
Sure.
Anyways, Monday through Thursday, you can get the topics broken out over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Or if you want to get it early, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Get the whole thing early. Or else that next Friday, you can get the MP3, you can get the video, you can get all the things. And it's going to be great. This is a great show, Greg. Things are going awesome.
Yeah. So you like to think.
Shit, we forgot to record it.
So I've got you into the first part of the rigmarole.
Yes.
Promoting the content. Now it's time to get you to the next part.
Okay.
Selling out.
Selling
so
out.
like here, I've been doing a lot of interviews
Yeah.
since we launched the whole thing. And one thing I always talk about, right, is that my goal is on January 5th, 2016, 1 year removed from our launch date, our independence, is that we're at least getting close where the videos, views and sponsorships and ads and stuff is making the same amount of money or close to the same amount of money as Patreon. I don't like that for our Patreon kids, they feel like they have to do everything for us, right? That they're our only source of income. So I went and sold this show for you.
Okay.
So I got an ad I have many ads today
Okay.
for you to read. How
I'm up to the challenge, Greg.
How many ads can I give you today? How many ads can I insert in this show?
3.
3? This is number 1 for you.
Number 1.
You get to read this.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is ProFlowers. ProFlowers.com. Sponsoring the show. Are you guys familiar with ProFlowers?
I am not.
Really?
Please educate
No.
me.
Have you ever used it? It's essentially a website you go and then you can order flowers and then they send it to whoever you want. You can send it to yourself, but that'd be kind of weird. Or you can
kinda
send
funny,
it.
though.
It is kind of funny.
You're at the office.
I actually like that.
You got a crush on somebody. They don't have the crush back. You send yourself
you
the
go.
flowers. Then
Yeah.
you look at
That old chestnut.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you can just send it. You can send it to your girlfriend. You can send it to your mom, which is a good idea for Mother's Day, which is what they're talking about here. So here's the whole rigmarole of this. If you go to proflowers.com and you click on the little blue microphone in the top right corner and type in patron, so that's Patron.
You're a patron of the arts, yeah.
Yes, or a patron of our Patreon.
I was trying to stay away from Patreon so as not to confuse people. Just patron.
I like confusing people.
God damn it! I'm gonna whip you into shape here.
But if you do this order lasts until Friday
Okay.
at midnight.
Okay.
If you do it before then, you can get 100 blooms with a free glass vase for just $20.
Oh.
So the blooms are 20. The flowers, blooms are flowers. If you didn't know.
I didn't know that
that.
terminology.
There you go.
That's
There you
actually
go.
interesting.
Yes. I googled that. Blooms are flowers, and then you get the free glass vase, $20. You can send it to whoever you want. You can send it to your mom because it's Mother's Day.
When's
and then you
Mother's
don't
Day?
even need to worry about Mother's Day. Mother's Day is like May 14th, 15th,
12th. It's coming
Somewhere
up.
It's in
around
that
there,
area.
somewhere around my birthday. Yeah.
I think
May
Mother's Day
11th,
is one of those
ish.
fluctuating things,
Yeah.
right?
It's always on the Sunday or whatever. Yeah.
It's always on the Sunday
It
or
is.
whatever.
Yeah.
Nailed it. That's
It's
kind
second
of funny.
Sunday in
Helping
May.
you once again be a better son.
So that'll be good. But you don't
Or
need to
daughter.
send it to your mom. If you don't like her, you don't need to do that. You can send it to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your just friend. If you want your friend to be more than friends, this is a good way to let them know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
it'll be cool. You can
Or
go
a
over to
stranger.
proflowers.com, click on that blue microphone, type in patron,
Yeah.
and then bam, you
There
get
you go.
your 100 blooms with a free
See,
glass face.
here's
There's
the
one
thing.
of mine. There's one. There's
Here-
more.
there's one.
There's
Here's
more.
Okay.
here's
Two
the
more
thing.
sponsorships coming
Okay,
your way.
I have to say about that. So that person that you like,
Mm-hmm.
what day is it? It's April 21st. Literally any other day except for Valentine's Day, go order them flowers and send it to them. They
Okay.
look baller as shit.
Yeah, that's what I
true.
was thinking.
That is
The
true.
last few months, I've become accustomed to going and getting Cheryl flowers for just really no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Oh, no,
if
this
you
is-
want to do that from now on, go to
Yeah,
proflowers.com.
that's what. Now I'm going to do that, and I'll have them delivered to her job directly.
There
See,
you
that's
go.
a baller move too.
100 blooms.
Yes.
That's a lot of flowers for $20.
In a glass vase?
100.
That's what I'm most excited about. You can see through it. All right, anyways, moving on. Topic number 1 comes from Patreon,
Hey.
from our boy Jordan Smith.
What up, Jordan Smith?
Jordan
Jordan Smith, thank you
Hey
for your
guys,
support.
so I started thinking about this a few weeks ago. With the constant parching of games, always online, and the general lack of feeling of ownership over the games we buy these days, does it still make sense to keep our games? I'm going to pause this for a second and ask Colin a very serious question. What is parching?
What,
Do you think
does
he's
he mean
poaching?
or is it parsing? Let me see. Can I see the question?
Yes.
See it in context. Sorry,
I was
Jordan.
confused with the constant parching. I don't know what that means. Parching of games. The constant parching of games, always on. Because I thought maybe he was saying parsing, like the piecemeal approach to games, like the DLC
That's
kind of thing.
kind of. We'll read the question. Does that fit in? Could we with that lens, does it work?
Okay. And the general lack of feeling of ownership over the games we buy these days, does it still make sense to keep our games? I still have most of my games from the PSX forward and can play them at any time I wanted. In 15 to 20 years, will we be able to say the same thing for current gen consoles? Thanks, friends. Keep up the good work. Yes.
Okay.
I think he means parsing.
Okay. That makes sense. Like
I'm gonna go with
breaking it
approaching,
up. Yeah.
yeah.
you're breaking it up. DLCs and whatnot, expansions.
Yeah, like The Walking Dead. For
Online multiplayer. Yeah, yeah.
This is a really interesting question to me because I'm a fan of physical games, physical goods in general. I like collecting things. I like having them. I like knowing that I own it. And when it's digital, I don't feel like I own it.
Sure.
It's always been an issue for me. And this brings up the interesting dilemma of why this is such a big deal to me. In the future, when licenses run out or whatever, I don't care. I still own my copy of Tony Hawk 3. I can play that whenever I want. But when licenses run out on these digital things, they lose the license, take it off the storefronts and all that stuff. You can't play it anymore. These are issues. So when we're really looking down the line, when our PS3s stop working, how are we going to play those games?
Right. That's the big problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No. And now, does he mean it in the digital sense, or does he mean it in the fact that if I have my disc base of DC Universe Online and I try to plug that in 10 years from now, maybe that game's not around?
Well, I mean that
Because digital is a different rigmarole altogether.
Yeah.
The fact that once I get rid of my PS3 and I'm done with it, I still have all these games I technically own lost in the digital ether, right? That are attached to my PSN, but I don't have an easy way to play them. I don't have a way to jump on. Not to mention that when 30 years from now Sony closes down, PlayStation shuts down, right? There is no more PSN. There is nothing to connect to. I never get those games. Whereas if Nintendo closed up tomorrow, you'd still have your Super Nintendo and all those games and plug and play and have a great time.
Yeah, I think it's funny because you were talking about you have your copy of Tony Hawk 3 on PS1, 2 on PS2. You'll be hard pressed to find a PS2 that works in 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's I think people are kind of skipping the whole thing that the movement to digital is going to ensure that we can play a lot of these games in the future because they're going to be available as data and not as hard cartridges or discs that you have to put into a console. That's not going to work. What I think a lot of people find right now is Atari 2600's work and NES's top loaders especially work and SNES's work, Genesis's work. But when you start introducing moving parts with PS1 and Saturn and all of those, like those consoles are you're going to be really hard pressed to find a working PS1 in 20 years. Like that's just the fact, you know. And I still think that like my 2600 still works and my original NES from '85 still works, but it's because it's not moving, it's not doing anything. So I think that you have to kind of look at it in the other way, in my opinion, which is that physical media is going to die. It's going to die. It's going away forever. And it's imminent and it's going to happen. It's already happening. And you can see that Nintendo is a really indicative example of this. Nintendo has the lowest digital buy-in you would think from their audience, that, you know, a kind of a younger audience, a more casual audience. And yet they always show their numbers about, well, this game sold 200,000 copies, including 80,000 digitally. That's almost, you know, that's an extraordinary amount of copies. That number's slowly going to grow. To me, it's about more accepting what's going to happen and looking at the bright side. The bright side is that these games will be available forever, unless there's a fucking EMP explosion over the United States. These things are going to be on servers forever, and games are going to become cheaper.
Yeah,
games are already cheaper than they were when we were kids, and they're going to become even cheaper. So because there's not going to be physical media anymore, and this allows people to explore the middle ground that we always talk about. That's gone now. You know, what's stopping someone from making a $30 retail game? They don't do it because they don't want to be looked at as a budget title. But if that's a digital only title, that looks like a premium buy. Yeah. So there's a lot of positives, I think.
But I mean, I think there is a lot of good from it, but I think most of the issues I have it's the licensing stuff. Because if it was just the game, if all the games were available, then it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But because there's some games that I'll never play again just because of they use some song, like, or it's going to be a weird-ass version of Crazy Taxi that I don't want to play.
Yeah, where they don't have the Offspring in it.
Yeah,
it wasn't the same.
It's just not the same.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just think that you have to look at it like from a more pragmatic standpoint, that you can have these games, but I think people are living in La La Land if they think they're going to turn their PS2 on in fucking 30 years and it's going to work. You know, like, and play these games and their memory cards aren't going to be wiped and all this kind of stuff. It's like, unfortunately, that's just the way it kind of is. I do agree with you that the licensing issues, that's an issue.
You and I are talking from a different perspective because I think we've already given up on collecting, having all these
I don't
things.
want.
You're
I don't
still
want the
there, right? Like, but I'm always the guy that says old game's old, right? Like, I traded in all my stuff growing up to buy the next system and stuff, and I only regretted it once or twice. And now I'm totally like, well, thank God I don't have an SNES and you know, every system I ever owned following me around in a trunk because I just don't have anywhere to put them. But it's just like for this guy right now, he's like, you know, in 30 years, what game are you going to want to go back and play like that? You know what I mean? They're like, we look at re-releases and we look at the eShops and they're going to be there in some respect. Like, but you're more of a guy who wants to have every cartridge and every system and everything's still there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting to look at just games in general right now. Like, they're so different than they used to be. Like, before it was just like the experience, you can have it and that's it. But now it's like Halo 2, right? Yeah. It comes out and they shut down the servers and it's like, well, that game's useless now.
Yeah, that game's dead.
I mean, at least the online is.
Same with
like
Mag.
Exactly. All right.
Calling all cars.
Yeah,
that'll never be the same.
And then you're seeing now like games like GTA 5 where they're taking songs out, they're patching it and like adding new songs in, which is awesome. But then taking songs out, which is like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. But I mean, I guess that's just like the world we live in now, where it's like it is this ever updating thing.
I mean, my whole thing is just I play a lot of games, but whether or not you agree with the whole trading in a GameStop system or how that goes, I always end up just trading games back in. So if I don't have a physical copy, it's like, you know, I pick up NBA 2K every year, but it's like I could, after I'm done with it for a couple months, I could trade in and get like $30 extra or something like that. And whether or not you agree with that pricing, yeah, that's a whole another debate. But I could use that towards something else. But if all my stuff is digital, like with GTA on the PC, I was sitting there, it's like, I really want it, but once I buy this and I'm not gonna play this in like a year, like I could give this up. If I actually had a physical copy on the console, I could just give it up like I did like with the 360 version, right? Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest thing, is that I'm just gonna have like this giant. I'm gonna look at like
your Steam library,
like yeah, my Steam library, and like here's all these things I no longer play. Like, oh look, the past 5 NBA 2Ks. If I had a physical copy, I could have gotten something back out of it, but now I can't. It's cool. It's really convenient. Like I love the convenience factor, but yeah, that's my thing. It's just like this big, huge digital library of stuff that could have been worth something.
It's the way that you fight that though, right? Like you do fight the used game market that way, and I think that's why console makers for sure are catching on and trying to figure out how to do that, and right now biding their time, right, until they can make that move and make the digital version of Uncharted 5 $10 cheaper, $20 cheaper than the copy you're gonna hold, because then you have that money, and you don't have to worry about losing that money, and that's Steam's thing. I look at my Steam library and it's just like, man, there's a lot of games in here. And I don't stop there and rarely do I stop there and think about how much each one of those cost me or how much what that library is quote unquote worth. You know what I mean? You don't think about it that way.
It's just the cost to enter, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that people just have to look at things in a more practical way, which is that it's nice. Like I have fucking shit ton of NES and SNES games in my house, and I have all my PS1, PS2 games at home and all that kind of stuff, but I don't expect that I'm gonna go into my attic in 10 years and like plug that PS2 in and have like an experience on it. It's just like that's kind of in the past. Like in a way, the digital revolution has been a blessing. It's just that you have to get the stakeholders and the licensees on board in a more effective way, because games do disappear even from PSN and Xbox Live.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah, Turtles in Time is a good example, because like so they need, like, especially the stakeholders, the platform holders need to just figure out a licensing agreements that say like this is available in perpetuity. If you put it on the platform, it's not coming down,
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's unreasonable, especially if they're going to be making millions of dollars, which they will on specific games there. So I think that we have to look at it. These old games will be available, and I don't encourage people to emulate games, but there'll always be emulations of these games too. So it's not like there are people doing good work out there making sure that they archive all of these games. A lot of these games are going to disappear forever. And they are making digital backups of games, and the Library of Congress and a lot of other places are getting involved in these kinds of things. So like, to make sure that we have backups and like real copies of these games that can be played in some fashion. But we won't be playing Mario 1 on NES in 50 years. We'll be playing it on a different console, and that's the blessing. That you don't have to like dig this old shit up and hope that you have a cartridge that works and hopes you have hardware that works. Like, I love gaming collectors and game collections and stuff like that, and I have my own, but good luck. Like with these newer, like a PS4 in 50 years, like you're not gonna find a fucking working PS4, And if you did, it's not gonna connect to the PSN. It probably won't work, So it's like it's for the best that this happens. And I know that you like to collect, and a lot of people like collecting physical goods, but this is good. This is good for gaming. This is good for the consumer, I think, too, because I think that this stuff will eventually start transcending consoles and platforms and eventually be playable in lots of different places, and it preserves history.
Yeah.